Okay, so hi everyone. So this is just a quick review of your non-skeletal muscle. That's your cardiac muscle and your smooth muscle. I am doing this so that we can have a quick and comprehensive overview of the most important points sa inyong cardiac and your smooth muscle. And because I cannot let this day, my birthday, come to an end without doing the activity that I love the most in this world, and that is teaching. So actually, nihalagnat ako ngayon, but we really have to do this so that you can gain value from it and so that ma-review yung most important concepts for our long exam on Monday. So I hope this would be of great value to you. So without further ado, let's start. So as always, we start with a roadmap. So we're going to deal with cardiac muscle physiology and your smooth muscle physiology. So under cardiac muscle physiology, we're going to deal with yung difference niya from our skeletal muscle excitation, contraction, coupling. Your cross-bridge cycling, okay, yung release state, Cox state, that's exactly the same. But we have some important differences sa kanyang excitation, contraction, coupling. What happens when we stimulate it using our sympathetic nervous system? Ano mangyayari sa kanyang contraction, heart rate? What happens when we have incomplete tetanizations? Kasi di ba, the heart has a very long refractory period, so we cannot have complete tetanization. So ano ba yung reason? Bakit wala tayong complete tetanization and why is it important? It's heart muscle. And lastly, we'll deal with biophysics. So that's our length-tension relationship, which is just the same sa ating skeletal muscle, and din yung passive tension, active tension. But now we have some surrogate markers. What I mean by that, yung mga ventricular blood volume, ventricular blood pressure, same thing. That just deals with your length and your contraction. Pero we just want to transfer that to specifics of your heart muscle. And then for smooth muscle physiology, we'll deal again with your excitation, contraction, coupling, the difference niya from both skeletal and cardiac muscle. So there are a lot of important differences. How does it contract and relax? Okay? And yung most important mechanism that separates your cross-bridge cycling in smooth muscle from the others, that's your latch mechanism. Okay? So I found a very, very good video na ipa-play na lang natin later, and I'll pause to highlight some important points kasi it's a really, really good animation. Mabivisualize nyo talaga what happens during our latch mechanism in our tonic muscles, di ba? Tonically contracted muscles. How do we regulate myoplasmic calcium? Kasi di ba calcium is very important in the strength or the force of our contraction. So how do we regulate it? Paano ba pumapasok yung calcium? Paano ba lumalabas yung calcium? And your membrane potentials, your type A to D. Paano ba? Ano ba yung signals for your contraction of your smooth muscle to occur? Okay, so we'll deal with that there. So we start first with cardiac muscle physiology. So here is the only diagram you need to master. Okay, there are core foundational diagrams na once na master mo in your head how to correlate and synthesize the images, okay, with the explanation, then you're good to go. Yeah, for example, here you have your cardiac muscle action potential propagated by what? Diba, your pacemakers in your heart, your sinoatrial node, diba, they send these signals that allow your depolarization of your sarcolemmal membrane, and that is sensed by your L-type calcium channel. Okay, so dyan sa L-type calcium channel, may receptor dyan that is similar to your skeletal muscle, your dihydropyridine receptor. Okay, so pag na-sense yung voltage change ng dihydropyridine receptor, it will open this L-type calcium channel and it will allow extracellular calcium. Extracellular, galing siya sa labas ng cell, to come in. Why is that important? Anong difference niya sa skeletal muscle? Di ba sa skeletal muscle, extracellular calcium does not go in, it does not play a role here sa contraction. Di ba? It's just merely a voltage sensor. Di ba yung dihydropyridine receptor doon, that's just a voltage sensor, okay, that causes a mechanical conformational change that allows calcium release from your sarcoplasmic reticulum through your ryanodine receptor. Di ba? Pag na-activate yung dihydropyridine receptor doon sa skeletal muscle, ipupull lang niya, magkakaroon lang ng conformational change to allow the release of calcium. Here, we have what we call a calcium-induced calcium release. Calcium-induced, it is calcium, okay, coming in from your extracellular fluid to induce, okay, the calcium release from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. So you do need the presence of your extracellular calcium to release yung calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Kung kanina sa skeletal muscle, that's electromechanical coupling kasi conformational change lang. Hindi pumapasok yung calcium. Here in your cardiac muscle, it's electrochemical coupling because you do need your calcium chemical from the outside to go in to signal the strianoid receptor to release calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So once nag-release na ng calcium yung sarcoplasmic reticulum, saan na siya pupunta? Pagbabay na siya to where? Di ba? Your troponin C, and the cross-bridge cycling causes your contraction, which is exactly the same as your skeletal muscle. No difference at all. Okay, probably ang difference lang is ang kumakabit lang, okay, ang kumakabit lang na calcium dun sa troponin C ng cross-bridge cycling is only from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, very important point. Kumakabit lang yung calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Yung extracellular calcium daw, according to the lecture, yes, pumapasok siya sa loob ng cardiac muscle cell, pero yung calcium na yan, hindi yan pupunta dito. Okay, hindi yan pupunta dyan para mag-cause ng cross-bridge cycling. Okay? So, that will cause your cardiac muscle contraction. What would now cause your cardiac muscle relaxation? So to cause cardiac muscle relaxation, kailangan lang natin baliktarin yung ginawa natin. Kung kanina we increase the amount of calcium dito sa cardiac muscle natin to cause contraction, here we need to be able to remove the calcium. Tanggalin natin yung calcium dito sa space na to. Okay, tanggalin natin yung calcium dyan so that we can have cardiac muscle relaxation. Na important point dito para hindi kayo malito. Okay, kung saan pupunta yung calcium. We have three spaces kasi here. We have here itong space na to, your cardiac muscle cytoplasm or your myoplasm or your sarcoplasm. Pare-parehas lang lahat yun. Yan yung calcium that is present inside your cardiac muscle cell. We also have another space here. Calcium can also be in your sarcoplasmic reticulum. And the third space kung saan pwedeng pumunta yung calcium is here in the extracellular fluid. Di ba? Palabas na siya ng cell. So we have three spaces to which calcium can be in. Kapag mataas ang calcium mo here, sa cardiac muscle mismo, sa myoplasm or sa cytoplasm, sarcoplasm, okay, you will cause contraction. But if you remove it from that space, either to your sarcoplasmic reticulum or to the extracellular fluid, then you will cause relaxation. Basta wala yung calcium dito sa myoplasm, you will have no contraction, you will have relaxation. So how do we then bring the calcium back from your myoplasm of your cardiac muscle to your sarcoplasmic reticulum? You do that through your Circa pump, exactly the same as that of your skeletal muscle. Your sarco and the plasmic reticulum, calcium ATPase number 2, kasi number 1 daw yung sa skeletal muscle. But never mind, the number 2 daw yung sa cardiac muscle. Okay, so that's an ATP-dependent process. You do need energy for that. Kasi you're bringing in calcium from low concentration to a high concentration dito sa loob ng sarcoplasmic reticulum. So binabalik na natin yung calcium kung saan siya nanggaling. From the myoplasm to the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay? That will cause relaxation. And syempre, pwede rin naman, lumabas na yung calcium entirely out of the cell. Okay? Dito sa extracellular space. So how is it done? We have what we call your sodium-calcium exchanger. N, sodium, C, calcium, X for exchanger. Okay? Sodium-calcium exchanger. So ano bang ginagawa niya sodium-calcium exchanger na yan? Tingnan nyo yung nangyayari ah. Sodium comes in, tas kaya nga exchanger, so opposite. Calcium goes out. So yes, you will have a decrease of calcium here. Pero wait, saan nang galing itong pagpasok ni sodium dito? Okay? That causes the release of your calcium from your myoplasm out of the extracellular space. So as you recall, this is what we call a secondary active transport. It does not use ATP directly, but it uses yung gradient produced by a primary active transport. Okay? Kaya nakalabas yung calcium dyan from the intracellular to the extracellular space. That's a low to high, di ba? So you need to have an active transport here. Pero hindi siya gumamit ng ATP because you use the energy from where? Yung gradient ng sodium mo. Diba? Sodium is high outside the cell. So it's low inside the cell. So it will allow just your concentration gradient. So yung sodium mo, it will easily enter the cell. And that powers the opposite process of your calcium going out against its gradient. Okay? Isa nang galing tong sodium dito outside of the cell, then we remember our trusty and most important, okay, primary active transporter. That's your sodium potassium ATPase. So this one is primary active transport. It does use ATP to bring sodium against its gradient from low, di ba? Low sodium here to high outside the cell. And the potassium, which is low outside the cell, to inside, which is high in potassium. So gumagamit siya ng ATP to do this process of exchanging sodium from inside to outside and potassium from outside to inside. Those are against the gradient, so you need ATP. And so now, binalik mo na yung sodium dito sa extracellular space. Now, it can enter again back from high to low concentration using its concentration gradient, which now powers the efflux of this calcium here. From low to high, opposite, you now have low calcium inside the cell. Kasi, bakit? Nilabas mo na yung calcium. Okay? So in summary, your sodium-calcium exchanger allows the efflux of your calcium, lowering your myoplastic calcium. And your Circa pump allows the return of your calcium from your myoplasm to your sarcoplasmic reticulum, again, lowering the amount of calcium in your myoplasm, causing relaxation. Okay, so once na-master nyo to, kahit hindi nyo napakinggan lahat ng sinabi ko, basta kaya nyo explain sa sarili nyo kung ano ibig sabihin ng diagram na to, you're good to go sa excitation, contraction, coupling ng cardiac muscle. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So let's try some practice problems. Characteristic of cardiac muscle DHPR receptor that differs from skeletal muscle DHPR. Does it allow the entry of trigger calcium? Yes. Tama? Sa skeletal, di ba hindi? It's just a conformational change that pulls on your ryanodine to allow efflux of calcium from SR to from your sarcoplasmic reticulum to your skeletal muscle cell. Di ba? Mechanical change lang yan. But this is chemical. Diba? This is electrochemical kasi kailangan pumasok ng calcium to trigger the release of calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. It needs to enter. Okay? Letter B, directly interacts with the SR-ryanodine receptor. No, it's not a direct interaction. Kailangan pumasok yung calcium through that DHPR receptor. This is a property of your skeletal muscle, di ba? It's directly interacting. Nakakabit yung DHPR, di ba? Nakakabit yung DHPR dun sa receptor, sa ryanodine receptor. That's a mechanical coupling. Di ba? That's a skeletal muscle, letter B. And letter C, this is electromechanical coupling. Again, this is skeletal. Ilagay natin. Skeletal, this is also skeletal. Electrochemical ang sa cardiac. And lastly is the channel through which SR calcium is released. No. Di ba? That's your ryanodine channel. Ryanodine receptor, di ba? That allows the release of your calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Ang trabaho lang nitong DHPR receptor is to allow calcium from extracellular to the intracellular space. Okay? Sige. Variation relationship, sodium, potassium, ATPase activity, myocardial relaxation. So what do you think? If we increase the activity of your sodium, potassium, ATPase, okay, increase that activity nito. So calcium will come in, sodium will come out, and then that will allow sodium to come in through and along its gradient, powering the opposite, okay, transport of your calcium from intracellular to extracellular, that's low to high. Okay, it needs active transport, but it's secondary active transport. Ginamit niya yung power generated by the gradient of sodium papasok. Okay, calcium now goes out. If calcium goes out, what happens to your myoplasmic calcium here? It decreases. Okay? And that would cause, sabi natin, relaxation. So this is letter A. Okay? Next. So what are the effects of your sympathetic stimulation? Okay, on your cardiac contractility, relaxation, and chronotropy. Okay, so we start with sympathetic stimulation, di ba? That's your norepinephrine and your epinephrine binding to your beta receptors in the heart, your beta-1 receptors in the heart. Okay, that would activate, di ba? Through your GPCR GS mechanism that would activate your adenylyl cyclase, causing the production of your cyclic AMP, causing the activation of your protein kinase A. Yun lang, focus lang kayo sa mga pinafocus ko kasi this is a very busy diagram. Start tayo again dito, di ba? Binding to your GPCR, causing activation of adenylyl cyclase, causing the production of your cyclic AMP, causing the activation of your protein kinase A. What does a kinase do sa biochem? Enzymes, di ba? Kinase phosphorylates something. Okay? So, ang ginagawa ni protein kinase A, it phosphorylates your dihydropyridine receptor and your ryanodine receptor. Pag phospholylate niya yung dalawang yan, it will allow more calcium to come in. Okay? From extracellular to intracellular. Okay? And it will also allow the release of more calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum towards the inside of your muscle, your cardiac muscle cell. Okay, so pag phosphorylate mo daw yung dalawang channels na yan, it would increase calcium entry sa DHPR and calcium release from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. So what would that do? That would cause an increase in calcium inside your cardiac muscle. If you increase the calcium in your cardiac muscle, you will cause a stronger contraction in your cross-bridge cycling. That's your positive inotropic effect. Greater force of contraction because more calcium comes into your cardiac muscle cell. Saglit lang sa lusitropy, start muna tayo sa chronotropy. So your chronotropy, from the name itself, chrono, time, so it increases the heart rate. So your sympathetic stimulation stimulates your pacemaker cells to produce more potentials to cause a faster contraction. Okay, I think that's self-explanatory naman. It would increase your heart rate if you have a sympathetic stimulation. Pero paano itong lusitropy? Lusitropy, okay, means relaxation. So ngayon baka magtaka kayo. Sabi natin, di ba, your sympathetic causes positive inotropic effect, causes greater contraction. Tapos biglang positive lusitropic effect din, increased relaxation. What is happening? Okay, so what is happening? Ang ginagawa kasi nitong positive lusitropic effect, yan yung nangyari ha. Di ba, your protein kinase A, okay, also phosphorylates your phospholamban. So recall natin anong ginagawa ng phospholamban. Phospholamban, in its natural dephosphorylated state, again, dephosphorylated state, inhibits your SERCA pump. So it inhibits your SERCA pump. Okay? Pag na-phosphorylate, okay, so inhibit yung SERCA pump, so hindi makakabalik yung calcium from your myoplasm to your sarcoplasmic reticulum. But what happens when you phosphorylate your phospholamban? If you phosphorylate your phospholamban, okay, so opposite yung mangyayari, that would increase the activity of your SERCA pump. If you increase the activity of your SERCA pump, okay, then more calcium will be returned back here sa sarcoplasmic reticulum. You will have low calcium sa inyong myoplasm. Low calcium here sa cardiac muscle mo, sa cytoplasm niya. So you will not have strong contraction. You will cause relaxation kasi konti na lang yung calcium mo magre-relax. So paano nangyari? Parang opposite, di ba? Inotropic is greater force of contraction, tas ito, increased relaxation. Ang sinasabi lang nito, okay, is kung in-increase mo yung balik ng calcium from your myoplasm back to your sarcoplasmic reticulum, okay, in-increase mo yung pagbalik niya dyan, you would increase, yes, your calcium back to your sarcoplasmic reticulum and decrease here, causing relaxation ng heart muscle cell. But what we are talking about here, okay, is what happens sa contractility niya in the next contraction. Tingnan niyo, binalik natin yung calcium from the myoplasm back to your sarcoplasmic reticulum. So yes, nag-relax yung heart muscle, diastole, kasi mababa yung calcium dito sa myoplasm. But you increase the amount of calcium in your sarcoplasmic reticulum. So kapag nagsystole ulit siya, marami ka ng calcium sa sarcoplasmic reticulum mo because of the increased activity of your SERCA pump. Then you will have a stronger contraction in the next cycle or in the next contraction in your next systole. Nagets ba? So, tinaasan natin yung pagbalik ng calcium sa sarcoplasmic reticulum. Yes, momentarily, nag-relax yung heart. But that also means na tumaas yung calcium ko sa sarcoplasmic reticulum. In the next cardiac contraction, marami nang pwedeng lumabas na calcium kasi maraming calcium dito. So, marami rin lalabas that would cause an increase in your contractility. In the next cycle, in the next cycle, in the next systole or contraction. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So we try to answer some variation relationship questions. Cardiac sympathetic stimulation and calcium sequestered from sarcoplasmic reticulum. Answer, this is A. Diba? If you increase cardiac sympathetic stimulation, you will have a phosphorylation of your ryanodine receptor causing increased calcium sequestration from your sarcoplasmic reticulum, causing a positive inotropic effect, increasing force of contraction. Phospholamban, phosphorylation, and myocardial contraction. Ano to? Anong ginagawa ano nangyayari kapag phosphorylates si phospholamban? That increases the activity of your SERCA. If you increase the activity of your SERCA, you return calcium back to your sarcoplasmic reticulum. So you will have no contraction, you will have relaxation. Okay, so you will have less myocardial contraction, you will have a relaxation of your cardiac muscle. Paano pag sinabing phospholamban phosphorylation? and myocardial contractility in the next cycle? That would be A. Pag sinabing, explicitly sinabi na in the next cycle, yun yung A, guys. Kasi maraming lalabas from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. You will have a high calcium in your myoplasm. E di mataas ang contractility in the next cycle. Pero pag ganito lang, isolated lang na myocardial contraction, this is B. It will cause your relaxation. Okay? Kasi babalik yung calcium from your myoplasm to your sarcoplasmic reticulum. And lastly, cardiac sympathetic stimulation and myocardial contractility. So, ano bang ginagawa ng cardiac sympathetic stimulation? It phosphorylates dihydropyridine receptors and urianodine receptors, causing what? The influx of more calcium in your dihydropyridine receptor, the release of more calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so you will have a higher amount of calcium in your myoplasm, causing greater myocardial contractility. Okay? Sige. So bakit hindi ba nagte-tetanize yung heart muscle? Kung i-compare natin kasi siya sa skeletal muscle, yung action potential ng skeletal muscle, short lang. Okay? So after ng refractory period ng action potential ng skeletal muscle, edi pwede mo na ulit siyang stimulate. Okay? Tingnan nyo. Ito yung action potential, ito yung muscle contraction. 'Di ba? E paano kung in-stimulate ko ulit siya, ito, yung green tayo, green ito. Paano kung in-stimulate ko ulit siya dito? Then I will cause another muscle contraction. So, hindi pa nagre-relax yung muscle ko. Nag-stimulate ko na ulit siya. Bakit ko nagawa yun? Kasi maikli lang yung action potential niya. I can stimulate it again. Hindi pa siya nagre-relax. In-stimulate ko ulit, edi contract ulit. Lalakas ng lalakas yung contraction until I will have my tetany. Sa cardiac muscle, hindi nangyayari yun. Why? Kasi, tingnan nyo ito, oh. Tingnan nyo yung absolute refractory period ng cardiac muscle. It's so long. You cannot elicit another action potential there. You cannot elicit another contraction. Therefore, hindi pwedeng mag-tetanize ng heart. It needs to be contract, relax, contract, relax, contract, relax. Otherwise, okay, that would, kung mag-tetanize yung heart muscle, it would not be able to pump blood properly, then we will die. Diba? So we really need to have no tetany here sa ating cardiac muscle. And bakit pa nangyayari yan? Saan ang galing tong plateau na to? Bakit may plateau dyan? Tapos, humaba yung action potential. Kung titignan natin, kung babalikan natin yung sa skeletal muscle, di ba this depolarization here is sodium entry. And this repolarization here is potassium efflux. Di ba? Dito, same pa rin yung depolarization. This is still a sodium ion. And then, bumaba siya, nag-repolarize siya saglit. This is still the efflux of your potassium. Pero bakit hindi siya tumuluyan bumaba dito? Bakit nag-plateau? Kung nag-efflux ako ng positively charged potassium, dapat maging bumalik ako negative, di ba? Pero nag-plateau. That must mean there must be something balancing the efflux of my positive potassium ions. That must mean there must be a positive potential na pumapasok. There must be positive ions coming in to balance the efflux of my positively charged potassium. And kanina pa natin sinasabi, this is caused by the influx of your calcium ions through your dihydropyridine receptor. Diba? Pumapasok yung calcium sa loob ng cardiac muscle cell. Sa skeletal muscle, hindi. Kaya wala siyang plateau. Dito, kaya pumasok ng calcium. Pag pumasok yung calcium, positive sa loob. Eh, meron din tayong lumalabas na potassium, so nag-negative. So nag-balance sila, nagkaroon ng plateau. That's why you have a plateau. That's why you have a very long refractory period. Okay? So, it is responsible for the inability of the heart to completely tetanize. Answer here, di ba? Hindi siya nagko-completely tetanize because of your plateau. And that plateau is caused by the influx of calcium. Alin ba dito? Yung nag-influx ng calcium from extracellular to intracellular. That's your voltage-gated calcium channels, your L-type calcium channels with your dihydropyridine receptor. Okay? Paano kung ganito? One of the following makes the heart incapable of eliciting another action potential during contraction. Nilagay ko tong question na to so that masanay kayong mag-rationalize ng questions that have the exact same concept but presented in a different way. Pinahaba lang niya, incapable of eliciting another action potential. This is just inability to tetanize. Exactly the same question nung nakaraan. And this is caused by your dihydropyridine receptors, which are your, sabi dito, voltage-gated calcium channel. Binago lang yung panalan. Ginawang dihydropyridine receptor. Diba? So it's useless to memorize the answers sa samplex. You have to know how to rationalize properly like this kasi it's the exact same concept asked in a different way. Okay? So now, length-tension relationship, as I said, is exactly the same. Tingnan nyo, oh. Di ba sa skeletal muscle, ang passive tension natin is just stretch. The more you stretch the muscle, the more you increase its length, the more you will have its passive tension. You know, increase the length, you increase passive tension. Same thing with your cardiac muscle. You increase the length of your sarcomeres of your cardiac muscle, you increase the passive tension. How about active tension? Anong sinasabi ng active tension sa skeletal muscle? Contraction, di ba? The number of cross bridges na optimally aligned yung myosin with your actin head. Di ba? Sa skeletal muscle, it's biphasic. Bakit nga naging biphasic? Kasi if starting from short length, di ba? Pag sobrang magkadikit ng sarcomeres mo, tingnan nyo nangyayari, oh. Hindi nag-a-align ng maayos yung actin tsaka myosin. Kapag optimal yung length nila, look at the amount of cross bridges, sobrang optimal, connected properly ang myosin sa actin heads. Tapos pag in-increase ulit natin yung length, bakit naman bumababa na yung active tension? Kasi, tingnan nyo, you have now low amount of, so nilengthen mo na yung sarcomere. So pag nilengthen mo na yung sarcomere, hindi na rin nagdikit ng maayos yung actin filament with your myosin head. Di ba? Hindi na rin nag-cross bridge ng maayos. Okay, so you have this optimal range. Not too short, not too long. You have an optimal range where your myosin cross bridges are most optimally connected to your myosin heads are most optimally connected to your actin. And it's the exact same thing with your cardiac muscle. Is it biphasic as well? Yes. Meron lang siya optimal. Okay, maikli, 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 optimal. Then pag binahaba mo, less cross bridges, again, it decreases. Same thing. Ang binago lang natin dito, kailangan natin malaman kung ano yung nag-i-increase ng length, that's your passive tension, and kung ano yung nag-i-increase ng contraction. Okay, that's your active tension. So, syempre, alam naman natin, diastole, that's when the heart relaxes. Pag nag-relax yung heart, ano nangyayari? You increase the blood coming into your ventricles. Diba? There's blood from your atria going to your ventricles. Pag pumunta yung blood doon sa ventricles, syempre, nalalagyan siya ng tubig, ng blood, nasa stretch yung walls niya. Pag na-stretch yung walls niya, ano ibig sabihin nun? You increase its length, you increase passive tension. Kapag systole is just similar to the contraction of your skeletal muscle. Nag-contract yung heart muscle, yung ventricle. Pag nag-contract yun, then you will have active tension. Biphasic din yun until a certain point na maximal yung cross bridges, and then kapag sobrang haba or sobrang ikli, that would cause, again, decrease in your active tension. So, syempre, systole nag-contract, you increase active tension generally in a biphasic relationship. So, analyze natin itong table ngayon. Muscle length and stretch sa diastole, that increases kasi nga meron kang blood coming in to your ventricles, stretching your heart muscles. Increase in passive tension. Eh bakit kapag systole, nag-decrease yung muscle length? Syempre, kinontract mo. Pag kinontract mo yung ventricles, edi lumabas na yung dugo papunta sa either your pulmonary trunk or to your aorta. So, kumonti na lang yung dugo mo sa ventricles mo, then you don't have enough stretch. Okay? You decrease your passive tension. Okay? How about ventricular blood volume? So, this is self-explanatory. Siyempre, diastole nga, you increase your blood volume. Pag nag-relax yung ventricle, papasok yung dugo. Kapag naman systole, siyempre, kinontract mo yung ventricle, lalabas yung dugo, you will have decreased ventricular blood volume. How about for your muscle tension? Hindi sinabi kung active or passive. Pero kung titignan natin tong diagram na to, ano yung may mas mataas na contribution sa total muscle tension? This is probably total muscle tension. Is it your active tension, your systole, or your passive tension, diastole? Ang may mas mataas na contribution is your systole. That's your active contraction. Okay? So, yes, nagde-decrease yung total muscle tension sa diastole kasi hindi naman nagko-contract eh. 'Di ba? But kapag ang tanong, paano kung diastole tapos passive tension, increase yun. Pero total tension, decrease sa diastole. Kasi konti lang contribution niya eh. Ang mas malaking contribution sa systole. Kaya sa total muscle tension, systole, it will increase it. Kasi that's when the heart contracts. And how about ventricular pressure? Same thing. Okay? Nagde-decrease siya sa diastole. Bakit siya nagde-decrease sa diastole? Kasi pag nirelax mo yung heart muscles, then you don't have pressure in your ventricles. That would increase in your systole. Kapag nag-contract na yung heart, you would increase your ventricular pressure. Siyempre, kinontract mo yung heart, so pressure would be very high. Okay? So paano kung sagutan natin itong mga variation relationship na to? And diastolic volume, that just means the amount of blood in your ventricles after the diastole. So nag-fill up na ng blood yung ventricles. What would happen to your diastolic ventricular pressure? Sabi natin, in general, nagde-decrease yung ventricular pressure sa diastole kasi nagre-relax. Pero what about your diastolic ventricular pressure? Then definitely, this would increase. Okay? Yes, hindi siya nagko-contract, but you still have ventricular pressure kasi blood is still coming into your ventricles. It's not that high of a pressure. It's not as high as the pressure from the contraction during systole, but there is still an increase in diastolic, ha? Hindi total. Only in your diastolic ventricular pressure. Nilalagyan mo ng dugo yung ventricles mo, you have an increase in your diastolic ventricular pressure. QC, ventricular blood volume, diastole, systole, definitely this is diastole. Sa systole, pinalabas mo na yung dugo. Siyempre, bababa na yung ventricular blood volume mo. Sa diastole, you fill up your ventricles with blood, increasing your ventricular blood volume. Oh, tension, hindi sinabing passive or active. Is it in diastole or systole? Again, kapag total, it's your systole that has the greatest contribution. Okay? How about variation relationship, systole and muscle length? Okay? Ano ba nangyari during systole? You contract. Okay? What happens to your muscle length as you contract your muscle? Diba? It decreases. Okay? So you decrease your muscle length during systole. Habang during diastole, nag-fill up ng blood yung heart, you stretch the heart. That's the increase in stretch. Pero kung systole, kinontract mo, nag-shorten yung sarcomeres, you decrease your muscle length, okay? You decrease your passive tension during systole. Yan o. Okay? Sige. So that's it for your cardiac muscle physiology. I hope you're able to cover the most important concepts there. We proceed now to your smooth muscle physiology. So here, we're going to tackle some important concepts that are not found in your cardiac and skeletal, especially your latch mechanism. Okay? So here is our diagram that you need to master in terms of excitation, contraction, coupling. As you can see, extracellular calcium, you know, plays a very big role here. In comparison to your cardiac, okay? In comparison to your cardiac and skeletal, kailangan mo lang yung calcium from the extracellular sa cardiac, for example, to stimulate the release of your calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Majority is still from the sarcoplasmic reticulum sa cardiac. But here sa smooth muscle, majority of the calcium you need for your cross-bridge cycling is from the extracellular space, galing sa labas. Pantulong lang yung sarcoplasmic reticulum calcium here. And do you need this extracellular calcium to activate, to release this? No, you don't. Hindi mo kailangan ng calcium from the extracellular to activate this calcium release here in your sarcoplasmic reticulum. If you recall from signal transduction, di ba may mga IP3 receptors here? Pag nag-bind dyan, it will release your calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Di ba? Hindi mo kailangan itong calcium from your extracellular space. Okay? But still, majority of your calcium you need here is from your extracellular space. Okay? So you have here your calcium binding to your calmodulin. That's your calcium sensor here. Okay? That's your calcium sensor here. So calcium binding to calmodulin. Okay? That's your calcium-calmodulin complex activating your enzyme, myosin light chain kinase. Again, myosin light chain kinase. It's kinase. It's a enzyme that phosphorylates. And your active myosin light chain kinase phosphorylates what? Ano pinaphosphorylate niya? That's your myosin head. Bakit kailangan i-phosphorylate yung myosin dito? Doon sa kabila, sa cardiac and skeletal, hindi ko naman kailangan. That's because your cardiac and your skeletal muscle are thin filament regulated. Diba? Kasi sa thin filament, tinatakpan yun ng tropomyosin, kailangan mag-bind ng calcium sa troponin to remove tropomyosin. Yun lang. But here, you have an extra step. Ewan ko ba, ba't yan to? Si myosin, maarte siya, kailangan phosphorylated siya to have your cross-bridge cycling. Okay? So now, you have your phosphorylated myosin that would now cause your muscle contraction in your smooth muscle. So how do we relax our smooth muscle? E di syempre, same thing na ginawa natin sa cardiac muscle. We sequester, we remove calcium from our myoplasm. Tanggalin natin. Tanggalin natin lahat ng calcium here. Decrease natin to so that mag-relax yung ating smooth muscle. And how do we do that? Kung kanina, we use myosin light chain kinase. Here, we use myosin phosphatase. And myosin phosphatase right here is an enzyme that removes the phosphorus from your myosin. So it dephosphorylates your myosin heads, okay, causing muscle relaxation. Okay? So, ano stimulus nito? Kailan magre-relax? E di syempre, kung kung kailangan natin i-relax sa smooth muscle, we need the activity of myosin phosphatase na activate lang siya if you have low, okay, cytoplasmic calcium. Okay? When you have low cytoplasmic calcium sa loob ng iyong smooth muscle, that would cause the dephosphorylation of your myosin heads, causing relaxation, and that is brought about by your enzyme myosin phosphatase. So, paano natin tatanggalin yung calcium here sa space na to? Again, we use our sodium calcium exchanger. Same thing, secondary active transport, we use the gradient of sodium to pump calcium out. And we also have your calcium ATPase pump here to bring calcium back to your sarcoplasmic reticulum. So bumaba na yung calcium mo here, causing your muscle relaxation. So that's it. So here are they side by side. Again, for your contraction, you need calcium and calmodulin to activate myosin light chain kinase to phosphorylate your myosin to cause contraction. For relaxation, you need to have low calcium to activate myosin phosphatase to dephosphorylate your myosin head to cause muscle relaxation. Okay? Sige. True of smooth muscle contraction. Contraction always require action potential. No? Diba? Sabi natin, pwede mag-bind yung drug. Diba? Sa GPCR. Pag kumabit sa GPCR, you activate IP3. IP3 binds to your sarcoplasmic reticulum, causing the efflux of calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. You don't need an action potential there. Next, changes in membrane potential influences calcium entry and contraction. Di ba? Tama. Changes in membrane potential influences calcium entry and contraction. Pag nagbago yung membrane potential, that could activate your voltage-gated calcium channels. Ito mga, pwede kasing ano to, pwedeng itong calcium channels na yan, it can be ligand-gated or it can be voltage-gated. So it can be activated by your membrane potentials, but not solely. Hindi lang ganyan. Pwede rin yung sinabi natin kaninang drugs. So yes, your changes in membrane potential influences calcium entry and contraction. Pwede siya ma-activate using your voltage-gated calcium channels. Next, sarcoplasmic reticulum calcium is required to induce contraction? No. Diba? Pantulong lang siya. Majority here of your calcium is from your extracellular space. And lastly, action potentials open diranidine receptors via the pharmacomechanical coupling. Tama ba yun? Pharmacomechanical? No. Because action potential is not pharmaco, it's an electro. It's an electromechanical or electrochemical coupling. Diba? Kung action potential yan. Pero we don't see it here. Diba? We don't see it here. Kasi yung pharmacomechanical coupling, it's just your drug binding to a GPCR receptor, GQ, for example. So your GQ would activate your phospholipase C, causing the production of your IP3, diba? That binds to your calcium channel in your sarcoplasmic reticulum, causing the release of calcium. Okay, so the answer here is letter B. Changes in membrane potential can, but not solely, influence calcium entry and contraction. Okay? So here is the video I found on latch mechanism. So this is a really, really good video. Panoorin nyo lang to multiple times and you will be on your way. So I hope okay yung audio ng video. Okay? Sige. Let's watch this video. Okay? So nakita niyo yun? Kapag hindi phosphorylated yung myosin head, kahit walang takip na tropong myosin, yung actin, hindi siya makakabit, maarte siya, kailangan niya ng phosphorus. Kailangan niya ma-phosphorylate muna bago siya makapag-bind doon kay actin. Okay? And ang trabaho na yun, the phosphorylation of your myosin is through your myosin light chain kinase, which is activated by what? Your calcium calmodulin complex. Di ba? So same thing here, you also need ATP, di ba? Pag kumabit yung ATP doon sa myosin head, it will detach from your actin. Same thing. Kita niyo yon? It's your myosin phosphatase that dephosphorylates your myosin head to allow your smooth muscle relaxation. So nakita niyo yun, no? So kung ang myosin phosphatase mo, dephosphorylates yung myosin head to cause relaxation. Kapag din-activate mo yung myosin phosphatase using your rho kinase, then you will have low myosin phosphatase. Hindi niya ma-dephosphorylate yung myosin head. So phosphorylated pa rin yung myosin head. It will cause contraction. Okay? Ayan. This is our latch mechanism. Kapag dephosphorylated si myosin head, tapos may kumabit na ATP. Normally, 'di ba dapat kumalas si myosin head from actin? 'Di ba ATP binding to myosin is the signal para kumalas si myosin kay actin. Eh kaso maarte siya. Dephosphorylated siya. Ayaw niyang gumalaw unless phosphorylated siya. And kahit meron kang ATP, it will not detach from your actin, causing this contracted or partially contracted state. That's your tonic contraction in your latch mechanism. Okay? Okay, so as we saw, di ba, your basic contraction happens when you have higher ratio of MLCK to myosin phosphatase. So phosphorylated si myosin, you will cause contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation. But during tonic contraction, you only need low amounts of ATP. You need low amounts of calcium entering the cell. And that would cause an increase in the ratio of your myosin phosphatase in comparison to your myosin light chain kinase. That would mean dephosphorylated si myosin head. Kung dephosphorylated si myosin head, tapos nakakabit siya kay actin, kahit may ATP kumabit doon, hindi siya kakalas. And that would cause your latch mechanism causing tonic contraction for a long time. Without ATP, contracted siya. Without high amounts of calcium, contracted pa rin siya. Okay? Sige. So let's answer some questions. True of intestinal versus renal artery contraction. Oh, magpanik kayo. Bakit tinatanong to? Intestinal, renal artery. Wala pa naman lesson na ganito. Guys, intestinal. This is phasic contraction. Renal artery. This is a blood vessel. Recall, di ba? Blood vessels and large airways. These are tonically contracted. Pag hindi tonically contracted yung blood vessels natin, kailangan di ba contracted sila to maintain what? Your blood pressure. Kung nirelax mo yan, contract, relax, hindi sobrang fluctuated ng blood pressure natin, pwede pa mag-cause ng hypotension yan and shock. Diba? So this is your tonic contraction to maintain your blood pressure. So this is phasic, this is tonic. The renal artery has slower cross-bridge cycling mechanics. This is true. Diba? Kasi sa tonic contraction, you don't need that much ATP and calcium. It's just in this partially contracted state for a long period of time. Hindi ka nagko-contract, relax sa cross-bridge cycling. This is true. How about letter B? Intestinal contraction requires parasympathetic activation. Di ba hindi? Pwedeng stretch, pwedeng hormones. Di ba? There's so many stimuli aside from your parasympathetic activation. Intestinal muscle are primarily multi-unit. Di ba? Hindi sila multi-unit. They are single unit. Meaning may mga gap junctions sila to allow. Siyempre, kailangan synchronous contraction ng intestinal muscles mo. And lastly, both require myosin light chain kinase deactivation for contraction? Hindi. It's your myosin light chain kinase that causes your contraction. So bakit mo siya i-deactivate? So the answer here is letter A. Tonically contracted muscles in your renal artery, your airways, have slower cross-bridge cycling. By the way, this is 6 phases, di ba, na cross-bridge cycling. Phasic is only 4. And this is faster cross-bridge cycling, contract, relax, contract, relax. Okay? Sige. Myosin light chain kinase activity and latch mechanism. Ooh, paano to? Sige, tingnan natin ha. Analyze natin. You have high myosin light chain kinase activity. So what would happen to your myosin? Is it phosphorylated or dephosphorylated? It would be phosphorylated. Kapag phosphorylated siya, would I have my latch mechanism? Hindi, di ba? Kasi kung phosphorylated siya, active siya. Kapag may kumabit na ATP doon, kakalas siya, cross-bridge cycling. Di ba? Kapag meron siyang ATP, masaya siya, kaya niya mag-contract, relax. Phasic contraction. Magkakaroon lang ako ng latch mechanism kapag dephosphorylated siya. 'Di ba? So this would be letter P. I would not have my latch mechanism here. Okay? Kasi phosphorylated si myosin eh. Kung phosphorylated si myosin, I will continue with my contract, relax, fast cross-bridge cycling. Okay? Only kapag dephosphorylated si myosin. Tandaan nyo lang yun. Pag dephosphorylated siya, dun lang may latch mechanism. And that is kapag low calcium, low ATP, and high activity of your myosin phosphatase. Okay? That's your latch mechanism. Next, Rho kinase activity and contraction. Oh, maraming steps kailangan dito. Rho kinase, what does it do? It phosphorylates your myosin phosphatase. Kapag deactivated si myosin phosphatase, would my myosin be phosphorylated or dephosphorylated? Ang trabaho ni myosin phosphatase is to dephosphorylate my myosin, di ba? Pero kapag dine-activate ko si myosin phosphatase, then I will remain phosphorylated. I will be having my contraction. So this is letter A. Okay? So again, yung jumps natin, Rho kinase deactivates myosin phosphatase. Deactivation of myosin phosphatase causes more phosphorylation of our myosin head, causing more contraction, thereby increasing my smooth muscle contraction. And lastly, myoplasmic calcium and latch mechanism. This is also same thing with this one. If you have high myoplasmic calcium, then you would have high myosin light chain kinase activity, phosphorylated si myosin. You will not have your latch mechanism. Okay? Sige. So how do we then regulate the amount of bioplasmic calcium? Kasi yan nga yung nagre-regulate ng force ng contraction natin. This is a very busy diagram, but focus muna tayo on two things. Ano yung nagpapapasok ng calcium inside the cell? Ano yung nagpapalabas? Okay? So, yun yung muna yung mga bibilyogan ko ha. This one causes influx of calcium inside the cell through a voltage-gated calcium channel. It's a potential-dependent calcium channel kapag yung voltage umabot ng threshold potential, then it will open these voltage-gated calcium channels causing influx of calcium contraction. Pwede rin, may neurotransmitter or hormone na kumabit sa isang ligand-gated channel. Bakit ligand-gated? Kumabit yung neurotransmitter doon, it will open the channel. It's an ion channel that allows the entry of your calcium. Okay? So you have voltage-gated, pwedeng ligand-gated. Pwede bang GPCR? Pwede. Pwede. You have your neurotransmitter or hormone binding to a GPCR. Let's say, sige, GQ. Okay, alpha 1 or M3. So, alpha 1 M3 receptor activates your GQ, causing your increase in IP3 to your signal transduction. Increase in IP3 causes it to bind to your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay? Kapag kumabit siya doon sa calcium channels dyan, sa sarcoplasmic reticulum, it will open the calcium channels, causing the release of calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum to your smooth muscle myoplasm, causing contraction. Oh, bakit nga ba nag-increase yung contraction? Kasi the more calcium you have, the more calcium calmodulin complexes you have, the more activated ang myosin light chain kinase mo. Phosphorylated si myosin, you will have cross-bridge cycling. Okay? Ano naman yung nagpapalabas ng calcium out of the cell? Same thing with I think, the cardiac muscle. Para lumabas yung calcium to cause relaxation, you have your calcium ATPase pump. Again, bakit niya kailangan ng ATP? Bakit active transport? Kasi nga, di ba, this is low to high concentration of calcium in the extracellular space. And then you also have the same thing, your sodium calcium exchanger. Sodium is a sodium calcium exchanger. That's a secondary active transport using the gradient of sodium to allow against the gradient transport of your calcium. But we have here a mysterious figure. Okay, this mysterious figure here, sabi sa Byrne and Levy, is called your store-operated calcium channels. I think. Basta yan, store-operated calcium channels. Yan ang ginagawa daw niyan. Okay? Kapag mababa daw yung amount of calcium mo sa sarcoplasmic reticulum, kapag mababa daw yung calcium dito, pwede daw niya i-refill yung amount of calcium dyan from the extracellular space. So galing daw dito sa extracellular space, pwede mong i-refill yung calcium mo sa sarcoplasmic reticulum through these store-operated calcium channels. Okay, so galing extracellular space, store-operated calcium channel, papasok yung calcium, babalik ng sarcoplasmic reticulum. Ayos, di ba? Na-refill niya yung calcium na doon for more contraction kapag nag-open na tong channels na to, causing the release of your calcium here, you will have more contraction. Kasi na-refill mo na yung calcium mo here through your store-operated calcium channels. Di ba? Okay, sige. So, store-operated calcium channels and sarcoplasmic reticulum calcium, kasi sabi lang natin, that refills the amount of calcium in your sarcoplasmic reticulum. This is A. Calcium ATPase activity, force of contraction. Ano ginagawa nito? Exit or influx of calcium. Efflux, di ba? From inside to the outside of the cell. You will have low calcium inside the cell. You will decrease your force of contraction. And lastly, M3 receptor activation. Anong ginagawa nito? That causes your GQ pathway, causing high IP3, causing the release of calcium from your sarcoplasmic reticulum. Kapag nirelease mo yung calcium sa sarcoplasmic reticulum, tataas syempre yung calcium mo sa myoplasm, sa cytoplasm. Pero sa sarcoplasmic reticulum mismo, pinalabas mo nga yung calcium eh. So, ingat kayo dito ha. This is letter B. Bumaba yung sarcoplasmic reticulum calcium ko kasi pinalabas ko papuntang myoplasm. So, mag-increase yung myoplasmic, smooth muscle, myoplasm calcium ko, but mag-decrease yung sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay? I hope that's clear. Okay, malito doon. And lastly, we're going to deal with some membrane potentials that cause your force generation. The first one is just like your skeletal. Action potential. Diba? Kapag mag-action potential ka, you pass the threshold, you cause an influx of your calcium, causing your contraction. You know? Pero pwede rin siya matetanize, di ba? Kapag hindi pa nagre-relax yung smooth muscle, tas nag-action potential ka ulit, contract, contract, contract. Yan, contraction, contract pataas, nagte-tetanize siya. And this happens in your visceral organs, your GI tract, in your unitary smooth muscle. Sige, check mo natin yung mechanism how this happens. So, the smooth muscle, konti lang yung sodium channels natin. Di ba usually kapag action potential, we want the influx of sodium. For smooth muscle, influx of calcium tayo. Okay, influx of calcium. So, pwedeng voltage gated kapag sinimulate ng parasympathetic activation through your autonomic ganglia. Okay, so nagkaroon ka ng membrane potential, causing your action potential, you're causing the opening of your voltage gated calcium channels, causing the entry of your calcium, then you will have an action potential. Di ba? Pwede ring ligand gated. Pag ligand gated, may kumabit na ligand dito, mag-open tong ligand gated calcium channel, causing the influx of your calcium, causing your action potential. Itong ano dito ha, itong spike na to, that's not sodium ha, sa smooth muscle, this is calcium. Okay? And kailan natin kailangan to? Ba't kailangan natin mag-tetanize and have these action potentials? Let's say, kumakain kayo, samgyup. So, kapag kumakain kayo ng samgyup, ang dami mong kinain, ano nangyayari? Nasa stretch yung stomach wall. Sige, stomach wall muna tayo. Kapag nasa-stretch yung stomach wall, that's a stimulus to open your calcium channels. Pag na-open yung calcium channels, then you will have an action potential causing the contraction of your stomach. Siyempre, kailangan i-digest ng stomach yun. Tapos, kain ka ng kain. Kain ka ng kain, hindi ka nabubusog, inubos mo na lahat ng meat na doon sa samgyup. Okay? Then, it constantly increases the stretch on your stomach. So, paproduce ka ng maraming action potential, causing your tetany, causing increased force of contraction ng iyong stomach para ma-digest niya lahat ng kinain mo. Okay? You need your action potentials to have your great mechanical digestion in your stomach. Kailangan malakas yung force. So, kailangan i-tetanize mo using your action potentials. Paano naman kung ganito? Slow wave potentials. Actually, itong slow wave potentials, this is poorly studied. We don't know the mechanism bakit may ganito. Pero this is what we call a spontaneous generation of your action potential. What do I mean? Yung mismong membrane potential ng smooth muscle, akyat siya, baba, akyat, baba. Spontaneous, meaning walang stimulus. Automatic siya nangyayari. Umaakyat yung membrane potential, bababa yung membrane potential. Eventually, doon sa automatic niya na pag ganun-ganun, nakakarating siya sa threshold potential. Kapag nakarating siya sa threshold potential, di syempre magko-contract. Then, oscillation na naman, relax na naman. Then, tumama na naman siya sa threshold potential, nag-contract na naman. Tapos, okay, so yung oscillation niya, yung spontaneous membrane potential niya, wala, hindi nagpo-produce ng actual potential. Again, tapos, ano na naman, tumama na naman siya sa threshold potential. This is spontaneous, automatic. Kung kailan lang tumama sa threshold potential, doon lang magkakaroon ng action potential. This is rhythmic oscillation of increased membrane potential, decreased membrane potential. Kapag tumama sa threshold potential, doon lang mag-release ng action potential. So sa oscillation na yun, meron tayong contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation. Diba? Parang ganito. Oh. Yan o. Para maging more negative siya, tapos magiging less negative. Ayan, action potential, nag-contract. Tapos wala na naman, more negative na naman, nag-relax na siya dito. Diba? This is pacemaker potentials. These are spontaneous. We don't know why it happens. These are just things that happen. Okay, meron talagang mga ganyan na yan, oscillation yung increase or decrease in the membrane potential. And why is this important? Bakit kailangan contract, relax? For example, dito sa ating mga, by the way, this is also in your GI tract, ha, your intestines. Gumagamit din sila ng slow wave. Yung stomach kanina, di ba, GI tract, gumagamit siya ng action potentials. The more you stretch, the more you stimulate your calcium channels to enter through your calcium channels, causing more contraction para ma-digest yung kinain mong samgyup. Here, sa intestine tayo, merong mga ano dito, slow wave potentials. Bakit kailangan natin ng slow wave potentials, these oscillations for contraction, relaxation? Diba? This is called your peristalsis, your peristaltic motion. Bakit kailangan natin ng ganun? Imagine nyo, contract lang ng contract yung intestine. Contract lang ng contract yung intestine. So, sobrang lumiliit yung diameter ng intestine. Sa tingin niyo ba makakadaan yung bolus, yung pagkain? Hindi, di ba? Let's say yung buong intestine, ha? Let's say yung small intestine mo, contracted lahat. Walang relaxation. Puro action potential lang. Oh, pag nag-contract yung intestine mo, dililiit yung diameter nun. Contracted nga siya, pero paano makakadaan yung pagkain dun? Liit ng diameter. Kaya kailangan natin ng contraction relaxation sa peristaltic motion is you contract the part of the intestine before the food for the force para ma-push yung pagkain, and then you relax the part of the intestine, okay, nadadaanan ng pagkain. Di ba logic? Pag kinontract ko siya sa likod, syempre, papapush siya. Kailangan ko i-relax yun na sa harapang portion ng intestine para lumaki yung space. Para mapatulak ko yung pagkain. Diba? This is peristaltic motion, contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation. Kinontract ko to push this, relaxation, para may space siya makadaan. So that, makatravel yung pagkain ko through my small intestine. Diba? So I need my slow wave potentials, these oscillations, contract, relax here. Okay? And dito naman, punta tayo sa mga multi-unit and yung tonically contracted natin na muscles, di ba? Sabi natin, we don't need action potential. Okay, but we have graded potentials that cause small amounts of calcium lang, small amount of ATP generation. Hindi tayo nag-action potential, oh. We don't need a lot of ATP. We don't need a lot of calcium. Pag nag-action potential tayo, di papasok yung calcium, ma-phosphorylate si myosin light chain kinase, di wala tayong latch mechanism. Dito graded potential lang. Konting changes lang in the membrane, membrane potential. Konti lang amount of calcium natin. Ano nga ang mangyayari kapag konti lang yung calcium natin? Okay? That would just increase your activity of your myosin phosphatase. Dephosphorylated si myosin head. Nakakabit lang siya kay actin. Kahit kumabit yung ATP doon, hindi sila magde-detach. You will have your latch mechanism. Okay, konting lang, graded potential lang, konting calcium lang. Konting calcium lang. You will not be able to phosphorylate a lot of myosin heads. Dephosphorylated yung myosin heads mo, you will have your latch mechanism. Hindi makatanggal si myosin. Okay, hindi makatanggal si myosin kay actin head. Kahit may ATP doon. And lastly, we have your pharmacomechanical coupling, unique to your smooth muscle. Sabi natin, kapag gumamit si vasoconstrictor agonist, for example, alpha-1. Diba? GQ yan, diba? GQ. Tama ba? Yan, GQ. Kung kamabit siya si alpha-1 dyan kay alpha-1 receptor, activating your GQ, GPCR, causing the production of your IP3, that would bind to your sarcoplasmic reticulum calcium channels, causing the release of your calcium from there, causing an increase in myoplastic calcium, causing contraction. Kumabit lang yung drug ko. Nakapag-cause ako ng contraction kasi yung calcium ko nanggaling sa sarcoplasmic reticulum. Tingnan nyo, hindi naman nagbago yung membrane potential. Nagbago ba? Wala naman nangyari. Kumabit lang yung drug ko pero may contraction ako. Diba? Ito naman, paano ko pag, relaxation naman, in-inhibit ko naman to, edi magre-relax yung muscle. Without a change in your membrane potential, wala namang voltage dito, kumabit lang talaga yung pharma, which is yung drug, causing my contraction. Okay? So, modified true or false, smooth muscle exhibiting rhythmic activity is seen in the walls of the GI tract is an example of tonic smooth muscle activity. I think nasa quiz to. Not sure. So, smooth muscle exhibiting rhythmic activity. This is phasic contraction. GI tract, tama. Is an example of tonic ba? No, this is phasic. Okay, di ba graded potentials lang dito, konting calcium, konting ATP, that's your tonic contraction. It happens in your large airways, large blood vessels, sphincters, di ba? How about that? Number 2, contractility of smooth muscle is dependent on calcium, but action potentials are not needed. This is true. This is false, di ba? This is true. Di ba? Yes, kailangan mo ng calcium to cause your cross-bridge cycling, but you don't need changes in your membrane potential. You don't need action potential. Pwede may kumabit lang na drug, activating IP3, kumabit yung IP3 sa sarcoplasmic reticulum, causing the efflux of calcium papunta sa myoplasm, causing contraction. This is true. And lastly, pharmacomechanical coupling is a mechanism unique in smooth muscle that results to contraction without any change in membrane potential. As we said, this is also true. Okay, I think that's it for your cardiac and smooth muscle. I hope we were able to clarify some important concepts and answer some tricky questions, may mga panlito. And I hope na-clarify yung mga misconceptions natin, and I hope we had a deeper understanding through this quick review. So thank you very much. Good luck. Pagpalain. Bye-bye.